Interestingly enough, filing for bankruptcy can be expensive. Everyone's situation is different, so sometimes it can be difficult to come up with $2,000 to pay for a bankruptcy attorney to file your case. As you've probably already noticed from the title, today I'm going to go through the different steps that you may need to take so you can file Chapter 7 bankruptcy in California without an attorney. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Ascend Finance YouTube channel, where we cover Chapter 7 bankruptcy and help you understand the costs, pros and cons, and help you be informed and get out of debt cheaper, easier, and faster. In this video, I'm going to cover 10 steps to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy in California without a bankruptcy attorney. Now, please keep in mind, this video is made for informational purposes only and should never be construed as any kind of legal advice. Now, to personalize this whole video to your situation, I'm actually going to link a bankruptcy filing software in the description that was built for folks that are potentially unable to afford an attorney, but still are looking for some sort of step-by-step guidance on filing their own bankruptcy. The forms can be quite clunky and hard to understand, so the bankruptcy filing software kind of changes the way you fill out the forms. Instead, it'll ask you questions in form of quizzes and then automatically fill out the forms for you. If you'd like to see whether the bankruptcy filing software could actually work for your situation, feel free to fill out the short questionnaire that's linked in the description below. It'll help you understand whether the software will work for you. Okay, so for today, I put together 10 steps to help you file Chapter 7 bankruptcy in California without an attorney. So let's start with step 1. First, it's helpful to probably gather your information and documents. Before you kind of dive into filling out all of your bankruptcy forms, it can be helpful to gather all the essential information on your debts, assets, income, and expenses. To help with that, grab some free copies of your credit reports. That way you have all your information in front of you and it didn't cost you any money to get that. You also may want documents related to your tax returns for the past 2 years, along with any paperwork showing your income, expenses, debts, and of course, assets. Okay, step 2. You're gonna wanna complete the Chapter 7 means test. So this test will ultimately help determine if you qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, meaning, are you able to go through the process and wipe away the unsecured debts? Step 3. You're going to complete your credit counseling course. So if you do end up passing the means test, you're most likely going to make the next move to completing your credit counseling course. This is the first of 2 courses that you may need to take in order to file the bankruptcy and potentially get your discharge. All right, step 4. Okay, now it's time to actually fill out the forms. There are about 24 forms, I think, but depending on your situation, the paperwork could stack up to 70 or more pages. And you can actually find these forms on the official US court website. Okay, but let me pause and jump in for a second before we go to the next step. As I mentioned, there are a lot of forms. It can be difficult to compile everything as well. So the software that I mentioned will not only fill out the forms automatically based on how you answer the questions, but it'll also give you the ability to preview all the forms and download all of them in one click. That's in place so you don't have to worry about missing any documents. You just click the download all button on the software and it'll provide with you all the forms filled out. Now, again, if you'd like to see whether the bankruptcy filing software could work for you, feel free to take that questionnaire that's in the description below. All right, let's move on to step 5. Okay, have your filing fee ready. Before filing, you want to make sure that you most likely have that $338 filing fee ready to go. This fee is most likely paid straight to the courts when you file your forms. You can potentially use cash, money orders, or maybe a check to pay the court directly. Now, if you can't pay the fee full up front, you may be able to pay it in installments or even get it waived. Those are things to look into and reach out to the court about. Step 6, file your bankruptcy forms with the court. All right, we're getting close. So once everything's filled out, print your forms. You want to make sure to print on just one side of the paper. You want to look to see if there's any errors, then sign in all the correct spots. And then you'll also want to attach copies of the income evidence that you found over the last 6 months, your credit counseling certificate to prove that you went through that, and then your application to waive or pay the fee in installments if applicable. All right, step 7. Now you're going to want to mail the required documents to the Chapter 7 trustee. You're going to keep an eye on your mailbox. Open all the mail you get from the trustee, the bankruptcy, or any creditors. That way you don't miss anything that could potentially lead to your case being dismissed. All right, step 8, complete your debtor education course. So now that we mentioned that credit counseling course, you're going to also want to take this debtor education course. It's often offered by the same company, so you'll want to get taken care of that and then file your certificate with the court as well. All right, step 9, the 341 first meeting of creditors. So about 30 to 45 days after you filed, you'll have the first meeting of creditors. Here, the trustee will ask you some questions under oath about your case, but don't worry, these questions will be based on the information you've already provided in your form, so they should be. All right, step 10. your car loans, or any secured debts. So secured debts like car loans aren't necessarily going to be discharged in bankruptcy. So you'll want to either keep making payments, potentially surrender it, or something else. But if you want to keep your car, there's one way about doing that is reaffirming the loan. This basically means that the loan stays active outside of the bankruptcy, so you'll keep paying on that. Now, of course, if you default on that later, the lender can potentially repossess that car, but that's kind of what a reaffirmation means. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end. I know the 10 steps can feel long. As I mentioned, feel free to fill out that questionnaire. It's in the description. That way you can see whether the bankruptcy filing software could work for you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.